It's Friday, the 6th of September. My name's Juan Brown. You're watching the Blancolirio channel, and we're here at the Grass Valley Air Attack Base, Grass Valley, California, just around the corner from the mighty Luscombe hangar. And today we're going to be looking at a video that kind of slipped under the cracks here at the Blancolirio channel, as we had so many other events going on at the time. This is an air tanker drop video from Tanker 01 flown by Neptune Aviation crew, a BAE 146 air tanker, dropping on a fire in the Great Basin area about July of this year. Based out of Missoula, Montana, Neptune Aviation has been in the air tanker industry for 26 years and has just recently retired their fleet of P-2V Neptune aircraft. This is a very benign drop. It's the first drop of the day, or very early on in the day. They're trying to drop and fill a gap in the retardant line, so they're going to do a partial load just to fill this gap in the retardant line. Conditions are ideal, winds are light, visibility is great, potential for complacency, but what sets in for these pilots is target fixation. Take a look. They got a good drop height established, but the crew continues to focus in on the target and lose altitude and lose sight of the fact that the train rises slightly at the conclusion of the drop. Now look at the shadow and just how close they are to the ground, with the wingtip vortices kicking up the ash and dust from the ground below. Following the drop, the crew returned to base and filled out the paperwork, including a U.S. Forest Service SAFECON, admitting that they had succumbed to target fixation. Target fixation occurs when you lose situational awareness, when you just focus in on the target at hand and lose sight of the ground, lose track of the ground, lose sight of your situal awareness. Quick refresher course on aerial firefighting. These are retardant bombers dropping retardant just outside of the fire line in an effort to slow down or retard the advance of the fire so that ground crews can get a line cut around the fire. The ideal retardant drop is about 150 feet above the top of the vegetation and about 120 to 150 miles an hour, such that the retardant comes out of the aircraft, stops its forward momentum, and just rains down on the foliage. Coverage levels are determined by a computerized tank on board the aircraft, and you can get thicker coverage levels for thicker vegetation and thinner coverage levels and longer retardant lines for lighter vegetation. So what's the cure to avoid target fixation? Don't do it. Well, that's easier said than done. It's simply human nature to just get focused on the threat that's in front of you. But you have to force yourself to maintain that situational awareness. And in a multi-crew air tanker, it falls upon the pilot monitoring to remain especially aware of his situational awareness and remind the pilot flying that he's getting too close to the ground. Now, what about target fixation in motorcycles? If you're a motorcycle rider, you can succumb to this target fixation real easy, especially if you're a street rider that likes to carve up the canyons. One of the first things you learn riding a motorcycle is you gotta look through the turn. You gotta look as far past the turn as your vision can allow and not get fixated, particularly on the apex of the turn. As a motorcyclist, you're gonna come smoking into a turn and you're constantly judging as to whether you're slow enough to make the turn. And if you begin to think that you're coming in too hot, you start focusing on the apex of the turn. And if you do that and do not look through the turn, you will fly off the corner right at the apex, right at that portion of the turn that you are target fixated on. Take a look on YouTube. There's hundreds of target fixation motorcycle videos where it looks like the guys just ride right off the side of the road. So I'm going to be up at the Reno Air Races all next week. I'll give you a couple live reports from up there. Let me know what you want to see while I'm up there at the air races, and I'll see if I can get it to you live here on the Blancolirio channel.
See you here.
I'm also going to be working as the turnaround judge for the premier edition of the Stoll Drag races. So come on up and meet your favorite flying cowboy fat tire pilot at the inaugural event of the Stoll Drag races at the Reno National Championship Air Races, Reno, Nevada, September 11th through September 15th.
Don't touch. Good. Excellent job.
One day, baby! Woo! $10,000 for one day! Woo!
Oh boy!
That's the most expensive day fee I've ever paid in my whole life.